system which will be able to distinguish between the ordinary flu and coronavirus, which others, and I myself included, no, sa pagkabasa ko ng kanilang notice, is it seems clear that they are saying that the RT-PCR is not able to distinguish between the ordinary flu and coronavirus. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, even if, because they are increasing the amplification, so we are detecting even coronaviruses of the past years. And to be species specific, lalong hindi siya specific sa species ng other viruses can be detected, of course.
So yan ang sabi ng CDC sa US, that they're no longer going to be using, they're asking excuse me, the FDA to withdraw the emergency use authorization for RT-PCR. We have not heard anything. I don't know if you have heard, Francis or Ellie, if you've heard whether the Philippines DOH or FDA man are already talking about, or even talking about this lab alert, which was released by the CDC, if I'm not mistaken, as early as July of this year.
Mari, I don't think our DOH is even talking about it kasi nga, nire-recommend na pa rin nila para sa mga workers natin. Gaya nga ng sinabi natin sa Kongreso, hindi ba, nung nag-tumistigo tayo. Why discriminate? Why even have RT-PCR tests for those who are unvaccinated? Hindi ba? Kasi nga, sabi nga natin, both vaccinated and unvaccinated can spread the virus. So if you really want to test, you have to test both. Di ba? If you really want to test. And ewan ko, di ba, ang daming beses sinabi ng mga doktor natin, if you don't have any symptoms, why test? Di ba? Yun yung dati pang sistema. Di ba? Doc Alan, can you confirm this? Di ba yun ang dati namang sistema? Pag nagka-sintomas ka, saka ka magte-test ng kung anong mali sa'yo. Or,
yeah, of course. That's the very idea. Kaya ka nga magte-test, you are confirming the symptoms. Kasi it will be misleading kung walang symptoms, magte-test ka na magte-test. Kaya dati ayaw nilang gawin yon. Kasi it will turn out marami talaga magpa-positive. So, confirmatory lang talaga ang purpose nito. It's not to diagnose. It just to confirm what is your clinical diagnosis. Makakatulong siya in a way na 60% matutulungan yung diagnosis, mako-confirm.
So ang ano ninyo,
given a set of symptoms na talagang pathognomonic of COVID, for example, anosmia yan, walang pangamoy. And then you are given a negative result, doesn't mean hindi mo sasabihin hindi COVID yan. It still should be clinically, kung ang clinical presentation ng COVID, dapat COVID pa rin diagnose kahit hindi ma-confirm ng test ng RT-PCR. Kasi confirmatory lang talaga ang purpose ng RT-PCR, not definitive diagnosis.
Definitive. So ang ibig sabihin, Doc, if I may ask Dr. Landrito, kung may nararamdaman ng isang trabahador or worker or you and me, pag may nararamdaman ka, antimano, stay home. Huwag ka nang lumabas. Tapos magpa-test ka. Kung negative ka, hindi ba? Tapos may nararamdaman ka pa rin, stay home. Pa rin, gano'n ba?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing para, nasa gitna tayo ng pandemic. We're still in the middle of this pandemic. If you have symptoms, more likely you have COVID. Unless you had COVID earlier or before, no? And if you have these symptoms, the role of RT-PCR is just to confirm. It's not necessary to take RT-PCR, no? Hindi naman 100% compulsory yan to confirm. Pero that was before, kailangan nilang ma-confirm kasi it was the beginning of the pandemic. Pero ngayon, that the pandemic is ripe, so I don't think there's a need to confirm everyone.
No. Okay. So one of the first points that we're attacking po sa IATF resolution is ito ngang pagdepend nila sa RT-PCR. No? For some reason, they're insisting on using a test which the whole world already practically, except maybe for our DOH and FDA, are aware that the RT-PCR produces a lot of false positives. Marami pong false positive. Ibig sabihin, lumalabas na positibo po yung pasyente. Actually, hindi pa nga pasyente kasi usually, dapat may simptomas ka bago ka tawagin pasyente, di ba? You have to be sick muna. pero lahat pinapatest whether may simptomas o hindi. So that's another weird thing. We have never done that in the history of medical science, as far as I know, na infected ka before you're proven infectious, or even if you
Guilty
even
ka na no? Guilty ka na.
Oo, guilty before you before ano ba tawag dyan? Guilty until proven innocent, and in this case naman infectious until proven non-infectious. Next slide nga tayo, Ellie, after which I'm going to ask you please to give Lyman another call, please. Okay, natural immunity.
Sure.
Oh, isa pa to. Thanks, Els. Yung natural immunity, ang sinasabi din dito, hindi na naman ni-recognize ng IATF resolution any such thing as natural immunity. Doc, you want to tell us about the differences between natural immunity, which comes from COVID infection, as opposed to vaccine immunity?
Yeah, it was made very clear by Dr. Rafael Casillo during our COVID summit. No, I believe most doctors will tend to believe that natural immunity is the real deal. It's the most profound immunity one should ever have. No, it will be lifelong. It will be the most effective one. Hindi siya temporary, just like the vaccines. You have to boost it every 6 months. This one you don't need to boost because it's going to be permanent. There will be memory cells there that will, kaya nga memorize na niya no? Yung configuration ng spike protein ng virus na yan. Anytime that the virus comes in, then it will activate a cascade of reactions to produce the antibodies against it. So it has always been a principle in immunology that once a person has had a viral infection, then given a good intact immune system, he will confer immunity, a natural immunity against that virus, and it will be life for a lifetime.
Okay. Ang sabi ng slide natin, Francis, Israeli study shows natural immunity delivers 13 times more protection than COVID vaccines. The study I've seen, or one at least source that I've read, says it is 27 times better than vaccine immunity.
Actually, Mari, nawawala nga yung immunity ng mga vaccines Di ba?
Anyway.
Sabi ni Doc, di ba? So it's a million fold yung natural immunity, di ba?
Remember,
Oh yes, Doc.
Go ahead.
Remember, I was advocating early on when we were heard in Congress on March 29.
Yes.
I was telling if we give every Filipino that time continuously Ivermectin every 2 weeks that time, no, or for 4 months, then we could have ended the pandemic. The reason why I'm saying so is because people will get the virus somehow, and yet they will not manifest the disease or the symptoms. If ever it will be a milder form, and then in so doing, they will get natural immunity. They will develop natural immunity, and if they do, then and it will be the whole population, then there will be herd immunity.
Correct.
Sayang, Francis, wala si Doc Alan nung nag-testify tayo sa Kongreso. Kasi medyo tayong imbis na mga doktora nagsalita. But one of the things that I brought up was yung na nga natural immunity, no? Because my wife and I, as you know, are both COVID recovered. So the point is, yung mga may natural immunity, yan na nagsaserve now. Dapat na frontliner Pero dahil sa yung mga recovered are safe already. No, unless there's a problem with your immune system, more often than not, you will be fine and you can be out there in the world and kahit na atakihin ka ng COVID virus, your body will be able to handle it and namamatay na sa'yo. No? If the COVID virus comes to you, mamamatay sa katawan mo, hindi ka na magsispread, hindi na siya magsispread. So yan ang tinatawag na herd immunity. Yung mga malalakas ang nagsumasangga para doon sa mga mahina. Pero kung ikukulong mo kami, hindi mo i-recognize yung natural immunity, they provide no benefit to society. It does not get you to herd immunity any sooner. And as we know, if anybody's been watching the huddles more regularly, you're aware that the vaccinations will not get us to herd immunity.
Yeah.
Di po ba, Doc?
May I add something more? Is it? Even then, I'm also even recommending, even after getting COVID-19 and recovered from it, I'm still recommending taking ivermectin once a week for the next 6 months. The reason to that is because it has been observed that there's peculiarity with this kind of viral infection in that it causes autoimmune disorders as well, and
Wow.
so has a tendency to go into relapses or long-term or long hauler terms, no? So if we take ivermectin every 6 months, then we are assured that we won't get it anymore until the pandemic ends.
Actually, Mari, ang tingin ko nga sa ivermectin yan yung talagang if you take it, you will not get the virus and neither will you spread the virus because you don't get the virus.
Correct.
Bakuna ang solusyon Ang solusyon, dapat ang gawin ng IATF, sige, ayaw nyo magpabakuna, okay, mag-ivermectin kayo. every week. 2.
Teka, bawal sa atin yung Manda anything kahit na Manda ivermectin hindi tayo papayag.
Pero i-recommend yan ni Doc Alan.
Of course. Ako rin recommend ko, natural. Pero maalala ko lang yung nabanggit niya, Francis, when at the summit, si Doc Alan introduced us to his patient na doktora because ang claim ng tinutulak ng iba nakaka-damage daw sa liver at kidney at brain ang ivermectin. Doc, may doktora kang kaibigan. Pasyente mo ba, Doc? Or that is taking how much ivermectin and how frequently?
No, she was there in the summit. No, she was an attendee, participant. She has been taking it for 9 months already, every day. Because she's seeing patients every day also. She's very active in handling patients. And when I first saw her, she was not that active or alert and a little bit weak kasi she is suffering from gallbladder carcinoma.
Gallbladder.
And then she had remission, she became stronger, and then she's become very active. In fact, she's joining us in our medical missions. Nila Congressman Defensor and Marcoleta.
Yeah.
So Doc, linawin lang natin. If I remember correctly, she's taking 45 milligrams a day. Tama po ba?
No, 1 capsule, 15 milligrams daily.
15
Not 3
milligrams.
capsules. Daily.
So 15 milligrams a day, daily for the last 9 months.
10 months. Yeah.
And that is on top of her chemo.
No, she altogether never took the chemo anymore kasi she's already getting better with the ivermectin. Kasi during the time she was undergoing chemo, kaya nalagas yung book niya. Then tinigil niya in the previous months, the recent months, we saw her now na makapal na ang buhok niya.
She looks fine. She looks very well. I saw her. Talagang hindi mo malalaman na may sakit pala. So 15 milligrams siya a day for the last 9 months daily. Ano po yung sabi niyo, yung creatinine niya at SGP?
It's always normal. Every time she have tested, it's always on a normal level.
Okay, paki-explain nga yan. Nakaka-damage daw ng kidney, nakaka-damage daw ng liver, pero eto, normal yung levels niya.
Every day.
Yeah.
Ano?
Twice a day, every day, 2 tablets a day.
No, 1 capsule a day.
Every day.
I presented, di ba, doon sa keynote ko, I presented a certain patient who took 230 capsules within 6 weeks when I was treating her. That's 3,450 milligrams in 6 weeks.
One more time, Doc. One more time. Pakiulit.
There's this patient whom I was treating, who went into severe, but I was treating with ivermectin high doses, and the total was 230 capsules for 6 weeks. And that's 3,400. You do the mathematics, 3,450 milligrams. And then after that, she became well, and they took the creatinine, which was only 78, which is normal. And the SGPT, the liver function, the liver enzyme is only 28. It's also normal.
What condition was that, Doc? Anong sakit niya?
Oh, she got severe COVID. In fact, I was telling, it was not only her, there were 4 of them. Mga friends niya, sabay-sabay sila nagkaroon ng COVID. And they all went severe. But she opted to stay in her condo and get treated with Ivermectin. She was calling me every time. And the 3 other friends of hers were brought to the hospitals. Eventually, all the 3 died.
Oh my God.
She survived.
Oh my
And she had normal, she never got the remdesivir and all that. She has normal normal creatinine and STP.
Francis, baka may breaking news tayo galing Boracay. Good evening, Dr. Homer Simpson.
Hi, hello. Hello.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening. Sorry, yan, lumalabas ako.
Okay,
Can
lalabas.
you see me, guys?
Yeah.
May background
Hi.
ka pang CDCPh Summit, Doc. Ha? Baka,
Oh, sorry.
Kasama natin si Dr. Landrito dito. Yung mga mga idol natin.
sa wakas po, nakapagbakasyon din si Doc Homer. Salamat po sa inyo.
Yes. So I was listening to Doc Alan with regards to yung Ivermectin on cancer patients. So that's very true Ivermectin even prior to this COVID pandemic actually being used off-label as a drug for cancer patients. So hindi nakakapagpapalit. Ivermectin really works very well even in cancer patients.
Okay. Doc, very briefly, paki-explain why it would work. If it's an anti-parasitic, it's an antiviral, why would it work?
Actually, hindi lang naman Ivermectin. There are other anti-parasitic drugs like yung mebendazole, yung anti-bulate din yun para sa bulate. Yung Pyrentel, yung dati nung bata tayo, yung Combantrin,
Correct.
So yung mga yun, they found out that this actually works well against cancer cells. They seem to stop the cancer cells from multiplying, So very, very, kumbaga versatile talaga itong Ivermectin, we can say.
Grabe. Okay, so hinihintay na, makibalita tayo kay Ellie. May sagot na ba tayo kay Attorney Lyman?
Attorney, he's here na.
Okay.
Okay, Doki. Maraming salamat at nandito na rin si Attorney Lyman. Attorney Lyman, would you like to address our audience?
Before that, Mari, Dr. Landrito,
Okay.
we hope you will stay with us. And if you have questions, just raise your hand. And regarding the legalities of this all, we'll talk about the legal issues involved. And perhaps you can share some of your medical expertise to back up the legalities of the legal issues that are going to be discussed tonight.
Okay. Attorney Lyman. Are you there, Attorney Lyman? Pakitaas ng kamay para mas madali kang mahanap ng ating mga admin.
He's co-host na Attorney Lyman, you can unmute na. But he's driving. Ay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Nagalit yung aso.
Attorney Lyman, are you there?
Nagdadrive pa si Attorney Lyman. Habang nagdadrive si Attorney Lyman,
okay, baka makalbot ng aso.
pakilala mo sa amin yung aso mo, Mari.
Okay. So,
Okay, si Attorney Lyman, we were discussing some of the studies of natural immunity and how effective even Ivermectin is with the treatment of cancer. Experimental po ito. Wala pang mga claims. So ito yung mga naranasan ng mga pasyente nila, Dr. Homer Lim at Dr. Alan Landrito, regarding Ivermectin and cancer. So there are no claims that it's a wonder drug yet. Huwag nyo kaming tirahin. O siguro, bago pa pumasok si Attorney Lyman at nagdadrive pa, ano yung next slide natin?
Wait lang. Here.
Eddie.
ayan.
Mandaluyong.
Yun.
Okay. Kita natin dito, sorry. Okay na yata ang aking asa. Okay. Total new cases sa Mandaluyong, among the not vaccinated, 0. Among the fully vaccinated, 4.
Ah.
Okay, among those who are waiting for the second dose, isang nagkasakit.
And this is not an isolated report. Marami silang reports na ganyan na parating fully vaccinated ang mga kaso ng COVID, di ba, Mari? Hindi to isolated
Correct.
itong report na ito
Correct.
sa Mandaluyong.
Pero ang consistent, ang Mandaluyong nagsasabi. Walang iba, hindi nagsasabi na totoo.
Doc Alan, bakit ganito ang nangyayari? Tila mga fully vaccinated yung nagkakaroon ng COVID. Andiyan po ba?
Nakamute kayo, Doc. Nakamute.
Nakamute po si Doc Alan.
Common sense will tell us ano ba yung sinaksak. Is it not a genetic code of the virus, diba? Of the spike protein, or is it not a vector of that genetic code, or is it not a protein, or kung attenuated the virus itself that they injected? So common sense will tell us ba't nagkaganon, diba?
Ayun. So they can spread that virus.
Yes. In fact, there is this phenomenon called virus boosting. So we know for a fact that the virus is just in the air everywhere. It pervades the whole planet. So they are vaccinated, but they are also, just like us who are unvaccinated, are even inhaling the virus in very, very small amounts. And they can boost these viruses. The viruses can get boosted into hot strains, they call, or variants which are more infective and more virulent. Kaya sometimes it backfires on them, and so they get COVID. And we know a lot of accounts and reports that unvaccinated people, they suddenly mingle with vaccinated, and suddenly they get COVID, or they feel
yung unvaccinated po nakaka-COVID.
Yan, so yun ang nangyayari actually. And this is an observation, and this is, of course, sasabihin na naman nila, wala namang mga randomized trial and all that, no. Pero a plurality of anecdotes is equivalent to evidence, diba? The evidence is there. You can ask everyone in the streets, they will tell you stories on the vaccinated, what happened to them, diba?
Okay. Plurality of evidence, plurality of
anecdotes is equivalent to an evidence.
Evidence. Maganda yan, Mari, ha? Tandaan natin yan para masagot ako. Pag sinabing anecdote.
Nila, evidence-based evidence. Yan ang mantra ng mga doktor. I call them the pharmaceutical doctors. Mantra of these pharmaceutical doctors is you should be evidence-based. No? But then where's the evidence? They want the evidence coming from the pharmaceutical company or from their research. Kailan pa nila ilalabas? Diba? Actually, if there is plurality of anecdotes already, kasi widespread na yung vaccination program. And many people are telling their stories. Ganito naramdaman ko, ganyan. May nag-story pa, namatay yung ganyan. Those are evidences already.
Ayun.
So the reason we're raising this, Francis, is dahil nga dun sa IATF resolution, dinidiscriminate ang unvaccinated, no? Against the vaccinated. Ang sinasabi nila, kaya tayo kinukulong sa bahay, kaya tayo hindi pinapayagan pumunta sa mga mall, kung saan-saan pa, ay dahil makakahawa daw tayo sa iba. So the presumption is that the unvaccinated are going to carry the disease. Whether they have the virus or not, they will infect the others. Pero ang nakikita natin dito, ang mga nagkakasakit, yung mga bakunado.
Mga nagsispread, yung mga bakunado. Kasi kung may sakit ka, magsispread ka.
Correct.
Di ba?
Tapos ito, out of 5 cases na bago sa Mandaluyong dated December 2, 4 ang bakunado, fully vaccinated, 4 ang nagkasakit. Yung isa na nakapag first jab na, nagkasakit din.
Ayun.
So, tapos 0 sa mga hindi pa bakunado. So parang, ano nangyari rito? Next slide please, Ellie. And then siguro, diretso na tayo. Wag na natin baka pahabol na lang natin si Attorney Lyman kasi we're losing time here. Okay. Israel confirmed cases, July 4 to July 31. the ages 20 to 90 plus, 15,634 among are the fully vaccinated. Ang unvaccinated nila, 3,038 lang dahil mataas ang kanilang percentage ng bakunado sa Israel. Ano? The percent of cases among the fully vaccinated, 86%. Okay? Percentage of population fully vaccinated, nasa 84.4% na pala sila, hindi lang 60. 84.4% ng buong Israel, bakunado na. Ngunit, ang cases nila ng fully vaccinated na may sakit, 86%.
Okay. Next. Self-explanatory. Di ba? Ano yung next?
Ayan, total coronavirus deaths in Gibraltar. Lumabas kasi yung mga bakuna bandang mga March, no? So tama ba? December sa Amerika, no? Thereabouts. Maybe maaga ang pagkakuha ng accept ng bakuna ng Gibraltar. But it shows you on the chart here mga January, nag-umpisa mag-climb ang deaths. Ang cases nila umakyat mula September, no? September, actually
YPEC ang bakuna. YPEC ang bakuna.
Okay, so kahit na mataas ang vaccination rate nila, 118%. Ito yung 118% na bakunado sa Gibraltar. Pero kita natin yung total deaths paakyat ng paakyat.
Pag sinabi pong 118% na bakunado sa Gibraltar, all of them received the first and second dose. Yung 18% nag-boost.
Na sobra.
Ganun ba yun?
Or nagpangalawang ibang klaseng injection, ibang klaseng vaccine.
118% fully vaccinated.
Mataas pa rin ang deaths niya. Mas lalo pang tumaas, tama ka.
Oo nga.
Imbis na bumaba, tumaas.
Pati kaso, mas lalong tumaas.
Correct.
Okay, so,
next slide.
Next.
Yan, total coronavirus deaths in Israel. Kita natin umakyat. Okay? Mula, July 29, paakyat ng paakyat. Ang cases, yung blue line, cases of coronavirus. Ang mustard or yellow line naman or gold line sa kaliwa, deaths, no? So kita natin ganun din, katulad ng Gibraltar. The more they vaccinate, the higher the deaths go. Doc, kailangan pa bang explanation yan?
Doc, Alan?
May tawag dyan nalimutan ko.
Stupidity, Doc. Ang tawag dyan, stupidity ng ibang tao.
Yeah. Sa Latin kasi, Latin yung term na I just forgot it. The evidence speaks for itself.
Yun.
I think the lawyers will know ano yung Latin na
I can't remember also.
Nalimutan.
Ipsa.
Late sequelae?
No, not that one. We'll figure it out later. We'll remember mamaya.
Sinabi ng mga abogado. Next.
Hindi na, may dalawa tayong abogado rito.
Ayun.
Res ipsa loquitur.
Yeah, pwede ka na.
Is that the one?
Yata.
Yan. Please explain this. Please.
Doc Homer, explain this. Doc Homer, explain this.
I cannot. I really cannot understand that. Kala ko ba takot lahat sa expired medicine? Bakit pag expired vaccines, suddenly, pwede na rin? Something's really going wrong here. Hindi ko maintindihan. Di ba yung mga drug stores, pag malapit na mag-expire, ibabalik na nila agad sa supplier kasi nga expired, magagalit yung mga taong mag-taking, what's this, expired drugs. Pero vaccines, which are again experimental, pwede extend.
I can explain.
I don't know hindi ko na alam ano talaga nangyayari sa mundo.
Explain ko yan, Doc. I can explain this.
Sige, ikaw.
Doc,
Sige. Explain mo.
yan. Kasi pag na-expire yung bakuna, hindi na siya delikado. Pag in-inject mo sa tao, hindi na siya delikado. Kaya ibigay mo.
Patay na kasi.
Parang binibigyan mo ako ng idea. Francis, binibigyan mo ng idea.
Ang sagot ko dyan, iba kay sa sagot ni Francis Doc Homer. Ang sagot ko dyan, no extent sa bakuna. Pfizer kasi, so hindi na pwede. Chinese, kayo naman
Ay,
nagpapatawan. Seryoso yung pinag-uusapan natin dito.
stupidity kasi.
Okay, 0% is ang survival rate. Omicron variant from vaccinated, adverse effects under...
Ayun, Doc, si Doc yan. Alan.
Kaya mo bang i-kwan niya?
Doc Alan, ewan ko ba? Ano ba ibig sabihin nito, Doc Alan? Omicron variant. Can you comment on the Omicron variant? Omicron variant, Doc Alan or Doc Homer?
Maybe Doc Alan would like to say something. Wala yata. Biglang nawala. Ayan, yan si Doc.
Nandiyan.
Go ahead, Doc.
I'm
Go ahead, Doc.
with the data on Omicron, but the way I look at it, it's not really as strong as even the Delta or the Beta. No? Although it's coming from South Africa rin, sabi nila, di ba? But then, hindi ako masyado, I don't, hindi ako masyadong dyan sa mga variants. Kasi I know Ivermectin can handle these cases. No? Parang we're waiting, remember the Delta, we are waiting and waiting for the Delta. Hindi naman talaga dumating na parang monstrous na ang virus na yan, yung variant na yan. No? That will kill almost everyone. But hindi naman eh. I think it's the same thing na sensationalized lang na parang nakakatakot. But then, it won't.
Doc Homer, ka ba yan?
Yeah. So, Doc Alan, just for the sake of it, explain nga natin sa mga nakikinig sa ating mga viewers. Let's say nga na itong Omicron, kasi sinasabi na ng South African doctors or Doctor Medical Association na this variant is mga 3 araw lang daw ng supposed code like pagkatawan, then magaling na sila. So, if in case na itong Omicron is more transmissible or tinatawag natin mas infectious, tapos more infectious daw than the Delta, and yet less severe ang sakit. Ano ba ang implications nito on a tinatawag natin public health side of this virus?
Okay.
Yeah.
Alan.
I think if it's highly transmissible and less virulent, that means it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It will infect most populations. So siguro lalahatin na niya lahat ng population. And then they'll get natural immunity.
Yun, di ba?
So Doc, what you're saying that if we get more people who if they get mas maraming infect with this variant, and then they get the natural immunity, therefore parang sinasabi natin that we're going to be able to achieve a better number of people who will be kumbaga immune na, or they will have tawag natin some form of herd immunity. So question, bakit tayo nagla-lockdown?
Okay.
I think many things can be understood by using the common sense, no? And common sense also dictates to us that the one implementing rules and regulations are not scientific, no? So, I will put it in that one sentence.
Okay. Mari,
Yes, sir.
siguro eto maganda na nagpasakali na tayo. Siguro punta naman tayo dito sa legalities na itong IRTF part 2.
Sige. Pero bago yan, ikuan ko lang yung aking nabasa kahapon.
Okay,
Number
sige.
1, yung South African na doktor na nakadiscover ng Omicron sa isa sa mga pasyente niya. Ang sabi niya, I only discovered it and I reported na nahanap ko sa mga pasyente ko. But she said that she had already heard that it had already been found daw in the Philippines, Israel, the US, and the UK, as far as I remember. No? I could be wrong on that. Pero she was saying na nandito na ang Omicron. Pangalawa, si Dr. John Campbell naman, yung gumagawa ng mga YouTube videos, ang sabi niya was, and that doctor in South Africa was saying, tama yung sinasabi ni Doc Homer na it's only sniffles. Parang sinisipon lang yung tao, tapos medyo may konting hindi magandang pakiramdam. So, 1 araw, 2 araw, tapos na. So they're fine already. But Dr. John Campbell was reading a study, I don't remember where the study was from, where he was saying that we daw na COVID recovered can fall or can become infected by Omicron. Pero dahil nga, and then they were saying, he was saying hindi pa daw sure kung hindi pa daw nila alam kung ang vaccinated daw tatamaan ng COVID, ng Omicron rather. But that South African doctor reported that the 4 patients that she had found that had Omicron were all vaccinated. Pangalawa, isa pang sinabi niya, wala ni isang kaso ng Omicron sa kanila na hospitalized. Get to the point na super hina ng Omicron. Yan ang sabi nila.
Di ang ganda, parang flu lang, anyone who got the flu before can get the flu again.
Less pa nga din flu eh. Kasi sisipunin ka lang tapos medyo masakit yung katawan mo, tapos na. That was it. That's it. Anyway, okay, sige. Pasok na tayo sa ating legal discussion.
Sige, boss.
Nandito na ba si Lyman? Unahin na natin si Attorney Aaron. Paunahin na natin.
Attorney Lyman should be here, he said.
Okay.
Okay.
Attorney Lyman?
Are you in?
Are you in?
Are you on board, Attorney Lyman?
Hi. Hi.
Yun. Okay, there he is.
Hi.
All yours.
Yeah, I'm here. Hindi. Sa trend natin kanina, I'm giving the floor to Attorney Tanya and Attorney Aaron because cannot be discussing the case.
Okay.
Tapos,
Pero,
and then we have our reactors actually. We have our reactors from CDC Ph legal volunteers to handle yung sa other side.
Okay.
So wala pa tayong masasabi. We cannot talk about the case.
But we have,
pwede bang sabihin na
no, we can
file na tayo?
I think Attorney Tanya, Professor Tanya would that.
Okay, sige. Unahin natin si
Valera. May si Professor Tanya yung magdi-discuss Sir Mari para
sige.
walang
ano usapan niyo? Sorry, hindi ko na nakita. Sino mauna? Si Attorney Tanya?
Sorry.
Siguro kasi siya yung may nag-usap sila. Tulungan yung dalawa.
So, nag-uusap kami kasi kanina pero hindi ko na nakita kung ano naging Attorney Aaron.
Pwede rin si
Attorney Tanya yung mag-uuna mo.
Okay, sige. Attorney Tanya?
Okay, akala ko si mauna si Attorney Aaron, pero sige.
Yan din ang alam ko eh.
Okay na, Attorney Aaron.
Ako ba?
Ang matututo sa akin.
Okay, Attorney Aaron?
Sige, ako na muna. So, what I'm discussing today is how do we take control of the situation right now? Kasi marami nagpapanik, no? Yung messenger ko nga sa Facebook sira na hindi na naglo-load sa dami po ng messages So how do we take control? Una, to take control of the situation, you have to have an understanding of your laws. So kung paano pinakamahalaga lagi sa usapan is your constitution. And then next is the law that came from the legislature. And then next level na lang yung mga sa mga IATF na yan. Bakit important ito? Kasi while waiting, nihintay natin magising yung iba eh. So right now, parang tayo pala yung gising ngayon. And mahirap to fight kapag yung condition ng mga ibang tao, especially with the courts, is against our narrative. So while waiting, kailangan natin maprotektahan ang sarili natin to survive this sa coercion na ginagawa nila. Our stand has always been backed up by law and the Constitution. So refusal is never a crime. So what should we do? Kailangan lang natin hintayin na sila yung mag-commit ng crime because yung coercion nila will always be a crime. Yung pamimilit na will always be a crime. Kailangan lang natin makumpleto yung elements of a crime kasi sa criminal law, lahat ng crime may elements. So kailangan natin kumpletuhin yan. Pag nakumpleto natin yung elements na yan, then you can file for a criminal case. Why criminal case? Una sa lahat, nakakatakot makulong. Siyempre, wala namang gusto. Kahit lawyers na mademanda ng criminal case, natatakot din. Pangalawa, ito yung it addresses yung economic problem ngayon because of the crisis. So, alangan namang gumastos pa tayo for a lawyer or filing fee. So, a criminal case, libre po ang filing nito and your lawyer will be the public prosecutors. So, recently, ang nagiging problem, tumatanggi yung ibang public prosecutors. Sabi nila, i-refer na, dapat nagpunta ka sa NLRC, dapat nagpunta ka sa labor, or dapat punta ka sa PAO. So, to anybody but them. For everyone's understanding kasi, ang pinag-usapan natin is a criminal case. It is not against an individual, me, against a criminal. It is always the state against the criminal. And we, as complainants, tayo yung pinaka-witness ng state. So, ang may obligation to prosecute that is always the government. We are only witnesses, no? Even if we are victims, we are witnesses. So, how should we protect ourselves? Kailangan we have to imbibe the mentality of evidence gathering. Evidence gathering. That is why lagi namin recommended, no? Always communicate in writing. You refuse in writing, papirmahan sa kanila para at least when it comes, lagi itong in preparation for a legal battle. Laging in preparation ng lahat ng movement natin. Even yung mga, actually yung sinabi nga namin sa Juan Dakila, no? Even sa mga protest natin, we do it on paper para lagi tayo may evidence. Kasi while waiting, nga magising yung iba, kailangan na iipon natin ang evidence natin against those who are coercive, no, sa atin, na namimilit sa atin na we call it vaccine, to vaccinate. So, again, kailangan, maiksi lang po yung Constitution, dapat basahin natin yung Constitution, no? Mas matagal pa po manood ng Netflix, so dapat we have to brush up with our Constitution and know our law. Right now, the relevant laws that pwede natin magamit, syempre, yung inoculation, vaccination law is RA 11525, specifically Section 12. Kasi yun yung nagsasabi na vaccination card is not mandatory to education, employment, and similar government transactions. So government transactions, malawak po to, no? Anything that has something to do with, I would consider use of public funds, anything that kailangan mo ng, any transaction, get your license, get your passports, lahat yan transactions. I would even consider using the roads kasi ginastahan natin yan eh. Public money yan, no? So pag hindi tayo patadaanin, hindi tayo patatawirin across borders, that is government transaction yan, in my understanding. So, aside from that, to protect yourselves, ano yung criminal cases na pwede nyong i-file? Ang pinaka all-encompassing sa situation natin is grave coercion. So, you have to memorize that by heart. That is Article 286 of the Revised Penal Code. Lahat ng kasing pamimilit or pagpigil sa atin with the use of threat, force, and intimidation, that is grave coercion. To complete the elements of a grave coercion, kailangan natin mag-refuse para merong piltang nangyari. Okay? So, refusal, do it on paper, no? In writing lagi. Patanggap natin yung, so, you prepare 2 copies, at least 2 copies. Kung sinong makaharap nyo, napigilan kayo, papirmahan nyo yung kopya nyo and bigyan nyo sila ng kopya ng refusal letter ninyo. Ang naging complication nakita namin, yung iba nag-pursue na, mayroong mga cases na ongoing na for grave coercion, tinanggap naman ng mga prosecutors. Merong iba ayaw tanggapin ng public prosecutors. So, what do we do with that? Pag tinanggihan kayo, ask them to put it in writing, yung pagtanggi sa inyo. O, i-refer mo kami. Kung ayaw mong tanggapin, i-refer mo kami, put it in writing, na hindi ikaw ang hawak niyan. Bakit? Always evidence gathering tayo. This is in preparation for another legal battle. So lagi tayo mag-iipon ng evidence. And this is not illegal, no, to ask them to put things in writing. Laging gano'n, no? It is the wisest thing to do right now. Okay. So another, yung nakita namin na incident, sa grave coercion, sasabihin hindi kayo makakatanggap ng 4Ps, ng mga benefits nyo, senior citizen, hindi kayo makaka-access to access the city hall. That is government transaction. To have access to private establishments imbued with public interest, that is government transaction because, for example, tatanggal kayo ng access sa market, tatanggal kayo ng access sa botika, to anything na involving na public, that's imbued with public interest. So, dapat dapat allowed ka na. For example, binigay ko to sample last week, no? May mga nahuli years ago, we remember, may mga nag-hoard ng bigas. Ang ginastos naman nila doon is pera nila, private money naman nila. Pero ba't hinuhuli ng government yon? Because you're depriving the public of a basic yung pagkain, no? dinideprive mo siya. So, bawal yun. So, the same way na pag dinidiscriminate tayo, yung mga unvaccinated, hindi tayo binibigyan ng access sa public space, like especially yung mga kuna ng mga essential goods natin, pwede yan for grave coercion. Another na nakita namin na dapat yung tandaan, aside from grave coercion, is yung nagiging relevant ngayon is illegal detention. Yung mga taga-barangay, sasabihin nila, hindi kayo pwedeng lumabas. Even yung mga mayors, no, in government, sasabihin nila, hindi kayo pwedeng lumabas kapag hindi kayo vaccinated. That is also illegal detention naman. So you have to, you resist muna kayo. Kailangan nyo mag-refuse una sa lahat. Refuse in writing. So definitely, hindi lang tatanggapin yan. What should you do? I-video nyo, get witnesses para i-tender nyo. Ibig sabihin, i-abot nyo yung refusal niyo. Para at least, kasi pag hindi kayo nag-refuse, sabihin na voluntary nyo yung ginawa. No? So always refuse. And in fact, kahit yung RT-PCR and antigen test, yung from the beginning sabi namin, illegal yan and you have to refuse. Una, walang karapatan ang employers to decide for you kung paano mo gagastusin ang income mo. And last December 2, sabi ko nga, after nila matapos yung National Vaccination Day nila, we will celebrate naman na National Grave Coercion Day. So marami talaga nag-file ng grave coercion. No? Sinabayan nila actually from November 29 to until December 2, nagtuloy rin sila nag-file ng grave coercion. Tumuloy sa work. And December 2, naglabas ang DOLE, si Secretary Bello, na ang magbabayad na ngayon ng pag hindi pinapasok ng isang employee just because unvaccinated, kailangan ng bayaran ng employer yung araw na absent siya. So you see, refusal works, no? Refusal works, and kailangan yun nga lang kung hindi nagre-refuse, akala nila okay lang. So, and again, marami siyang tinanggap na letters from the member, yung sa mga sumusunod sa Juan Dakila. And I think with CCH also, so marami silang mga natanggap na letters for that. And nakikita natin na nagkakaroon ng movement, although hindi pinapansin ng mainstream media, alam na natin yan. So okay, so you have to reduce everything in writing. So even RT-PCR and antigen test, pwede yang tanggihan. Una, di pwedeng gamitin yung employee. Plus yung RT-PCR is dangerous nga. No? Ako, I would consider it dangerous kasi syempre ginagalaw yung very sensitive area ng mukha natin. So, pwedeng tanggihan. Tapos, ano pa ba notes ko? Maiksi lang ang notes ko ngayon sorry Ayan. Plus, ito. Ayan. Kasi, if you remember last week, sinabi ko, the Constitution is a social contract. Contract natin to bilang mamamayan sa isa't isa and with the government. That they have to respect us bilang individuals, and the government was created not to push us, no, o kaya para pahirapan tayo. Ginawa natin ng government to make things convenient for everyone, to make things organized. Pero nangyayari ngayon, hindi. So bakit ko sinasabi na, ba't ko binibring up to? Kapag hindi na nirerespeto ng mga tao sa government ang contract na ito, people can rise up. In our history, no? Kasi ito, yung nanay ko kasi is a confidential lawyer of the Supreme Court during the martial law era, no, under Justice Ericta and Justice Relova. Yung sa snap election, yung nanay ko yung nag-draft ng decision for the snap election. Dalawang decision yung ginawa, prepare niya for that. One is constitutional, one is unconstitutional. Tapos nakita nila, pinaglalaroan na lang sila ng dating president. So ang ginawa nila, ginawang constitutional once and for all. And the reason for that is sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from the people. So kaya ko sinasabi, no, we are in waiting para magising yung ibang mga tao. And while we are waiting, kasi pag nagising na lahat, kasi inevitable na kailangan magigising talaga sila dahil maraming mamamatay. No, marami nang namamatay ng mga bata and hinihintay natin sa magising, and we have to be there. Kailangan buhay tayo pag nagising na sila because it can happen. Hindi ko sinasabi, I'm not pushing everyone to do it, pero if it happens, kailangan prepared tayo. So, yan yung sinasabi ko, no? As a social contract, may capacity ang population, especially less than 70 million na lang tayo kasi nagkaroon silang National Vaccination Day. Pero we are still the majority. Kapag nag-decide tong majority na to once and for all end this, walang usapang legal, supra-legal. I mean, beyond legality ang usapan. It can happen, no? Hindi siya imposible. And when we get back the power, alam natin kung sino yung mga at fault. No, hindi sila pwede maghugas kamay. Kaya very important talaga in a situation like this is to gather evidence all the time, and we move through evidence. So, yun lang ang note ko for tonight. Sobrang iksi.
Okay lang. May Q&A portion pa naman tayo.
Ayun. So, yun lang, no. I think we have to imbibe yung evidence gathering, put everything in writing, and resist in writing din. No? So, the refusal letter is available in Juan Daquila, in CCH, and CDCPh, I think. Tapos, yun, lahat ng forms, and always listen to the updates din, no? Ayun. At saka may suggestion pala ako, no? Everyone who wants to participate, kasi lagi nating nakikita na ang problem kasi natin with the Supreme Court right now, parang lumalabas pro-vaccine sila. Kaya mahirap itong nagiging battle namin with Attorney Tanya, Attorney Lyman. Ang hirap ng battle po natin kasi isipin mo, we are going against the narrative. So what can every one of us do? Alam natin yung mga justices din, wala silang access sa social media. You can i-print niyo po yung mga kilala niyo na namatay nung panahon na nagpabakuna sila at nung panahon na may RIP na yung mga Facebook pages nila. Padala niyo sa Supreme Court, sa isa-isa na kanila, para magising sila. Kasi kung hindi ipapalabas sa social media, isubo na natin sa kanila. That's the only way, no? Kasi para malagpasan natin yung barrier na ginagawa ng mainstream media. So I think, no, if we want to be proactive in this battle, we can do that, no? We don't need to go to the streets. Although going to the streets, that's another form of bravery, and I support that. Pero if you don't want to participate in those kinds of activities, pwede nyo gawin yan. And it's not illegal, no? It's a part of your freedom of speech. Ayun.
Ang ginawa, attorney, sa Italy, nag-March of the Dead sila, combining the two of the things that you're suggesting, no? They had pictures of the dead, and then they marched habang pinapatugtog yung Schindler's List. So, ewan ko lang kung tinamaan ng mga
may tinanay naman yan nung Gising Maharlika before. Ang problem dyan kasi, ako in my personal commentary ko lang sa ganyan kasi, after yung muna, ipapalabas ba tayo ng mainstream media?
Yun ang tanong.
Pangalawa, pag alis natin sa kalsada, natandaan pa ba tayo? Unlike kung ginawa natin on paper, no, pinadala natin sa kanila through mail, even ordinary mails lang para makatipid-tipid tayo. Pag alis natin, nandun yung letter natin nakatambak sa kanila eh. So, medyo terrorizing yun, no? Pag gising nila, yun lang makikita nila first thing in the morning, yung makikita nila mga letters of people died. Nakakatakot on their part kasi mga vaccinated sila, parang ano to, is a threat, ganyan. Hindi naman eh, it's an information dissemination. Pero kumbaga, parang medyo manginig na rin sila sa kinalalagyan nila kasi people are dying and they're not aware. So, ang hirap no, you're leading people who you do not know. So, parang ganun yung nangyari sa kanila.
Sabi ni Jared, we went to the streets in Cebu today.
Yes. With Dr. Aclarit, ano po ako, naka-follow ako.
Okay, sige. Attorney Tanya, all yours po.
Okay, so maraming salamat. And I totally agree with what Attorney Aaron said about the action. Yung action has resulted in effects. Yung pag-stand up ng mga tao, yung pag-resist, yung pag-file ng grave coercion, yung pag-submit ng refusal letters has resulted in concrete results. Okay, and I would like to share with you today some good news that can help put yung mga sinabi ni Attorney Aaron in context, yung mga national developments from December 1 up to today. That should give us hope to continue fighting. Okay. 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 Sige po. So, I will give you an overview of what has happened since December 1 to 4. Okay, so we remember that the IATF resolution was supposed to take effect on December 1, although we know that ang daming mga bibong bata na mga mayor, governor, employer na well in advance of December 1, gumawa na ng mga resolution, gumawa na ng mga executive order at mga policies implementing the resolution in advance of its effectivity date. Okay. Now, anong ginawa natin? So, tama yung sinabi ni Attorney Aaron, no? Hindi pa hinog at this time, or at least last week when we were having the huddle, hindi pa hinog mag-file ng case nung time na yon kasi sarado pa yung isip ng mga mahistrado. hindi pinag-uusapan sa media, sa mainstream media, tahimik, although maingay sa social media, we know this. Facebook, Telegram, Rumble, di ba? The alternative channels, we already know this, but the mainstream does not. Okay, so anong ginawa ng CCH? Nagpasabog ho kami ng bomba noong December 1, naglabas ng full-page ad sa Philippine Daily Inquirer. Okay, and magbibigay ako ng konting context dito kasi milagro po na nakalabas ang ad na ito. And alam ko ni Queen Anne ito, nung nag-uusap po kami a couple of weeks ago, sabi namin, meron kaming content, wala kaming pera. Di ba? Paano to? Di ba? So, sa awa ng Diyos, meron isang napaka-generous na benefactor who gave us pretty much most of the money needed. Ako po, nag-ambag po ako ng 50,000 of my own money for this. Just to make sure, kumbaga nagpunla ako ng konti in the hope na merong magdideleg. At sa awa ng Diyos, meron naman. Okay. And it turns out na it wasn't as expensive as we expected it to be. So that was another miracle in itself. Of course, rini-review po ito ng editorial board ng legal team ng Inquirer to see whether papasa siya. And pumasa yung mas radical version na sinulat po ni Tito Nick Perlas. So, mas maanghang pa yung kanyang sinulat kaysa dito. And nung pumasa, okay, safe to safe. Ayun. So, ito po, lumabas po siya on page 5. So, this was last Wednesday. And it was a very, maganda po yung placement niya, strategic. On page 4, it was the news about Bongo's withdrawal of his presidential candidacy. Diba? So political news ang kasunod niya. So talagang binabasa ng mga tao, diba? Inaabangan. So parang okay, perfect. Ang ganda ng placement. Okay. So nagpasabog na dito. So parang we caught the attention of mainstream media. Okay. At tumawag ang Philippine Star sa amin. Sinabi, nagtampo, bakit po kayo nag-put ng sa PDI? Ba't hindi sa amin? Ganon. So ngayon, dati nilalapit namin, walang pumapansin. Ngayon, sila naghahabol. Okay? Tapos, yung isang ano doon is on the same day, and I understand that there were resource persons from CDCPh who were at this house hearing. I think si Sir Francis was there. That's what I heard, and some other people. Okay, so nag-hearing po ang House Committee on Labor and Employment on that same day. And by the end of the day, lumabas ang balita na the House Committee would write to the IATF pushing for the suspension of the resolution. Okay, so two big pieces of news on the same day. Nagpasabog into the mainstream consciousness in the morning. Nung hapon at gabi, sinabi ng House na we think that the IATF should suspend this. Okay, second day, pumutok ulit sa media. So Inquirer on its own did its own article. So ito na mga reporters na ito ng Inquirer na naglabas ng article at binulabog nila ang FDA, ang DOH, in-interview nila ang IATF to get their side of the story. So I think this also came out on page 4. Again, a very strategic part of the newspaper. Okay. On the same day, nag-interview po si Ted Filon kay Tito Nick Perlas that morning. So for those of you who follow Ted Filon, alam naman po nyo na napaka-bombastic ni Ted, pwedeng mambara yan, di ba? He can interrupt. Pero kung pakikinggan po ninyo yung interview ni Tito Nick, tahimik, tahimik si Ted Filon. He was listening very politely. And we sense at certain points parang nagulantang siya, parang, hindi ko yata alam yon, you know, yung may ganung sense na this was new to Ted Filon. Okay. And it was a very, very smooth interview. Ang ganda, lahat ng mga points nag-landing. Okay. And then, ang pinagtapusan ng interview was, Ted Filon was telling Tito Nick, Sir, can you send us your materials? And he hinted at a follow-up interview. Okay. So may part 2 ito, may kasunod ito. And aside from this, Tito Nick was interviewed by the other channels. So he had the DZRH interview. He had the interview with yung the Iglesia channel. I think it's UNTV. Ba? So may mga ganun. And marami pang mga nakapila from the regional radio stations. Okay, so pumutok na tayo sa mainstream media. Okay, and now our government is taking notice. Okay, the following day, nagsalita po si Senator Risa Ontiveros saying that discriminatory policy under IATF Resolution 148B is unfair, okay, and it's against public policy. Okay, and may konting backstory din po ito kasi on December 1, we have been we have been advising many people, including employees of a major transportation corporation, and one unvaccinated employee who is very outspoken, he's the leader dun sa grupong yon, happened to meet Senator Ontiveros that day.
Yun.
So the fact na nakapagbiyahe siya, because di ba yung sa transport sector, kailangan fully vaccinated para makapagbiyahe. Di ba? Pinayagan siyang magbiyahe. And naging pasahero po niya si Senator Ontiveros. And nilapitan niya, kinausap niya, at nakinig si Senator Risa. They exchanged contact information. The employee was put in touch with the Chief of Staff of Senator Risa. The same day, sumulat po, kinapi-furnish po ako, that's why I know. Okay, and this was the result. 2 days later, ito po yung lumabas sa balita. Senator Ontiveros listened and acted on it. Okay, so again, nasa dyaryo po. Now, kahapon, lumabas din po, and you might have heard this, naglabas po ng sulat ang DOH, okay, si Yusek Vergere, okay, under fire, ang dami pong nagtatanong sa kanya tungkol dun sa ating charges na, unsafe yung vaccines. And then, ito po, may sinabi po siya dun sa sulat, sa paragraph na may arrow, hindi minamandato ng kagawaran o ng pamahalaan na dapat mabakunahan ang lahat ng mamamayan.
Huh?
So ano to, umaatras sila? Di ba? Parang umaatras, kumakam, di ba? Parang...
Or sinungaling lang.
Diba? So very interesting. You're seeing this dynamic, di ba? They're suddenly backpedaling, di ba? May mga ganun. Pero itong si Carlo Nograles ng IATF, si Secretary Nograles, ito ang sinasabi pa rin niya. Sa milyong-milyong nabakunahan ng mga Pilipino, 99+++%,
Oh boy.
ay walang naramdaman na adverse reaction o kung meron man mild lamang po ito. Okay, wala pong namatay na direktang may kaugnayan sa COVID-19 vaccine jab. Okay, mukhang hindi po alam ni Secretary Nograles ang FDA report na nagsasabi na may almost 2,000 ng patay. Okay, so saan humuhugot ng polisiya ang IATF? Okay, so ito, pwede natin itong banatan. Okay, kasi may datos na tayo pang sangga dito. Okay. So anyway, good news. Okay, so on our side, okay, on the CCH side, we are aware of at least 2 petitions that will be filed with the Supreme Court. Okay, and in reference to what Attorney Aaron said earlier, na kailangan i-collect yung evidence, magpapatulong sana kami sa lahat sa inyo na nakikinig at nanonood. Kung meron po kayong kilala na adversely affected by the vaccines, diba, either namatayan or na-injure, kung kayo ay na-discriminate against because of the policy, or if you were forced to get the vaccine against your will, diba? Alam natin na grave coercion yan. We need your information. Okay? So, we are working, I am in talks with Dr. Homer. We are preparing a form that can be easily filled up by people. We will release that when it's available. Okay? But we already have draft affidavit forms, in the same way that sila Attorney Aaron have draft forms for grave coercion, to help you write your story. This afternoon, I was in a meeting po with mga 100 teachers, and I'm sorry, Mari, na hindi kayo nakapasok dun sa meeting. 100 lang pala yung limit ng aking Zoom account. Ang dami pong nagkwento ng mga teachers na about the panggigipit, the threats, and we have asked them to please write their stories. So may mga pumapasok na po. And we encourage you to write your stories. Now, hindi naman po kailangang notarized yet. Okay? Hindi pa naman kailangan assisted kayo by lawyers. The first step is for you to write your story. So yung mga nagpo-post sa Facebook, yung mga nagpo-post sa Telegram, please don't stop at that. Please reach out to us and tell us na totoo kayong tao, hindi kayo troll, hindi manufactured yung mga kwentong to, na may tunay na mga tao behind these stories. Okay? Because yan ang papansinin ng korte. Okay. And as I will share, hindi lang yung korte yung ating lalapitan, dagsain natin ang Senado, ang House, ang mga LGU, ang DILG especially, di ba? Kung pwede natin i-troll sila sa social media, sa Twitter, di ba? And yun, doon tayo yun yung magagawa natin. Okay, so in relation to the courts, okay, so this is a good piece of news that we only found out yesterday. Okay, nileak po ito sa amin. Hindi namin alam kung saan nanggaling. Meron pong malakas ang loob na Supreme Court employee by the name of Attorney Catherine Hotea Nunez na nagsampa ng kaso against the IATF and against the Supreme Court Office of the Administrative Services. Okay, bakit kasamang Supreme Court? Kasi ang Supreme Court mismo, ang kanilang HR department, nag-issue ng resolution requiring all employees to get vaccinated.
There you go.
To follow the IATF resolution. So kami napapakamot ulo kami nila Attorney Aaron, Attorney Lyman, parang hindi ba kayo nagbabasa ng saligang batas? Di ba ninyo alam ang International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights? Yon. So naglakas loob po siya mag-file. So it is now pending with the RTC Branch 41 of Manila. So may hearing po next Tuesday kasi yung nangyari daw kahapon, hindi natuloy yung hearing, wala yatang dumating from the Solgen's office. So abangan po natin to on Tuesday, magkakaroon ng hearing and then we will know what will happen. Okay,
Pwede
so,
ho bang mag-attend ng hearing yan? Virtual?
ay hindi ko lang alam. I don't know kasi kung sino yung humahawak na abogado. I don't know if this is going to be a live hearing na in person or virtual. Baka kung virtual pwede, we'll try to find out through channels, no?
Okay
kung
po.
pwede maka-attend. Oh, but on that point, Sir Francis, may mga judge na nagsasabing hindi ka pwedeng mag-appear sa court nila pag hindi kayo bakunado.
Yun na yung pinaglalaban yan ba yan?
So, yun. So, meron kaming balita sa Caloocan, tapos another judge daw sa Laguna. So, it's like, OMG. Okay, so, yan yung state of play ngayon. Pero, okay, so may two possibilities for this court case. So, it's possible na ma-dismiss, okay, and there was a similar case filed last Friday, sa Iligan. It was dismissed daw by that judge because the judge said ang Supreme Court ang may jurisdiction, hindi lang RTC. So tignan natin if this judge, si Judge Loha, will rule the same way. Okay, in which case, hinahanda na po ang Supreme Court filings. Pag na-dismiss yun, susundan ka agad sa Supreme Court.
Attorney, pag na-dismiss yung Iligan,
Na-dismiss na po. Na-dismiss na.
na-dismiss na Iligan. So which one is the one that we're preparing?
Ito.
This one, itong
this one.
sabi nila.
Okay.
This one is live. This is live. So we will see what happens on Tuesday.
Okay, ikuan lang natin kung pwede lang i-full screen po ninyo, makita natin. The respondents are IATF, Secretary Francisco Duque, Secretary Carlo Alexei Nograles as Cabinet Secretary, Office of the Administrative Services, Supreme Court of the Philippines, and the Honorable Pia Cristina Bersamin Embuscado in her capacity as presiding judge of the RTC Branch 198, of which Attorney Catherine is the aggrieved. Ano po ba? Tama po ba?
I think so. I'm curious actually. This is all I have. I don't have the petition itself, so I don't know kung bakit impleaded itong si Judge Embuscado. But I would assume na baka nag-file na previously and then the-dismiss. I don't know. So,
Attorney Lat, marami pong mga tanong dito sa chat, no? Yung
Teka,
sinabi
patapusin muna
niyo,
natin si
sige,
Attorney.
tatapusin ba natin o sige. Kasi it was about the other slide. O sige,
okay,
tapusin
sige.
muna natin.
Sige, ilan pa ba, Attorney?
one na lang.
Okay.
Kawan na lang. Sige, patapusin na muna natin.
Balikan na
Tapos
lang
balikan natin. Okay.
Okay, sige. So kumbaga parang good news ito. Okay,
Yes.
we have these filings, okay? And we also have been made aware of lawyers in other parts of the country who are responding sa mga issues ng mga tao. So of course, nandiyan sila Attorney Aaron, yung kanilang network of lawyers. I understand that there's the IBP chapter president of Bacolod is assisting the unvaccinated people in Bacolod. Nagrally na po sila noong November 30. Okay? Yung mga taga Cebu nagrally ngayong hapon. Okay. And then I understand there's also a lawyer from General Santos.
Attorney Fontanilla.
Yes, Attorney Fontanilla. Yon. So he has also posted, I think Attorney Aaron was the one who shared it. So he has posted on his Facebook page that he is willing to assist people with their complaint affidavits. So
anong possible na dahilan kung bakit may dismiss itong kaso ni Attorney Catherine?
Parang sasabihin na ibabato sa taas. Parang
Nakuha lang sa taas.
Dribble. Hindi lang dribble, pass the ball.
Pass the ball. Baka pass the ball.
Poncho Pilato ang tawag dyan. Poncho
But
Pilato.
technically, Judge Loha would have the, she would have the capacity to decide on this talaga, no?
Yes, she does. Actually, the regional trial court can decide issues of constitutionality. It's in
Okay,
the
now let's
Constitution.
let's presume na let's theorize, mag-hypothetical tayo. Kung i-decide ni Judge Lohan na ibigay kay Attorney Catherine ito, does it mean that it applies only to Attorney Catherine or does it apply across how do we make it apply across the board?
I would think, and Attorney Aaron can comment siguro also. I would think that it would apply nationwide. You know,
It becomes a precedent, in other words, attorney.
It's not so much a precedent as it is now. If the TRO is granted, it is a TRO nationwide. Hindi lang siya Manila.
Okay.
And Attorney Aaron, baka you can chime in also kung tama
please.
aking analysis.
Ako, I agree na national lang application niya, and you can everyone who questions the executive orders of the LGUs can use this to counter yung mga mandatory na requirements nila. So definitely, pero asahan natin if Attorney Catherine wins in RTC, ka-appeal pa naman yan sa Court of Appeals and Supreme Court. But nonetheless, hopefully, mag-succeed siya para at least kahit pa paano may TRO.
Okay,
Yes.
so independency, habang tumatakbo yung appeal nila, working na yung TRO. Hindi tatanggal yung TRO until manalo sila sa kabila, sa appeal. Tama ba?
It depends on how it's decided kasi.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay, sige. Sorry. Okay, I'll let you continue, Attorney.
Okay.
Attorney Tanya.
Okay, and this is my last slide. Okay, and this was shared by Attorney Aaron within the group earlier, and I hope he can share it with all of us. So a friend of his who wants to remain anonymous put together this 30-page primer on how to assist us when we are being forced to take the jab. So it's very comprehensive. It discusses the various laws na applicable, and it also includes the various forms, the letters, the grave coercion, etc. So talagang ang galing, So parang if you bring this with you, it's really a primer to educate you and to educate the people that you share this primer with.
English or Tagalog yan, Doc? English.
English sa ngayon eh.
May
So
Tagalog.
what do you mean by bring with you, Attorney? It's a book? It's a...
It's a 30-page primer. So if
Print
you
out.
Line.
You print it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can print it. Yeah.
Sige. Makakuha tayo ng translator siguro niya para, kasi ang daming labor force sa Tagalog, yung Tagalog po, naiintindihan nila.
Pati yung mga,
Kaya-
mga letters natin.
Oo. Oo, yung mga listeners natin.
Oo.
Okay, next slide, Attorney.
Ayun lang naman. So,
Yun lang.
contact
Okay,
info
yung
namin.
contact niya. Yan.
Yes. Yeah.
You've been hearing po, CCH. CCH stands for COVID Call to Humanity. No, it's okay, Attorney. We'll
Sorry.
give them time to copy
Okay,
your details down. Kung
Alright,
wala pa
okay,
po
sorry.
sa kanila.
Yeah.
So if you've been hearing the acronym CCH, those letters stand for COVID Call to Humanity, with which Attorney Tanya Lat, Professor Lat
Kanya lang po.
is volunteering together with the very able Sir Nick Perlas. Okay, so yan po yung contact info. Paki-screenshot na lang po ninyo or paki-kunan with your device.
Okay.
Okay.
Mari, maraming nagtatanong eh. Kasi maraming ang naapektuhan. Katulad ng itong isa, tiga-toda ito eh. Yung bumabiyahe, no?
Tricycle operators and
Oo.
riders.
Kasi nga, alam mo naman, mahirap ang buhay. Araw-araw, kailangan nilang makabiyahe. Ito, effective December 1, hindi na siya makabiyahe. Kasi nga, ano po ang legal na aking gagawin? Ito na nga sinasabi natin. Alam mo, tiisin nyo kung ayaw nyo talaga magpabakuna, tapos kumuha nga kayo ng sulat, kagaya na sinabi ni Atty. Sagilyon, i-download nyo yung sulat, tignan natin kung atras sila, ipakita nyo yung sulat, kung sinong haharang sa inyo, kunin nyo yung pangalan. Ganun ba, Attorney? Attorney, paki-explain.
Yes, syempre kailangan nyo mag-resist muna doon sa mga pinagpipilitan sa inyo kasi pag pumayag kayo, definitely hindi kayo walang crime na mangyayari. Kasi para magkaroon ng crime, kailangan may pagbabanggaan ng mga karapatan, ng karapatan natin at saka ng ini-impose sa atin ng kung sino mga nakaharap natin. So, bilang sa transpo kayo, hindi kayo makabiyahe, mag-prepare kayo ng refusal letter. Pag hinuli kayo, take the ticket under protest para pwede kayo magdemanda. Lalagyan nyo under protest or not in agreement kung ano man, o kaya sabi mo nilalabanan ko to, tinatanggap yung kung titikitan kayo. Pero normally, alam din naman ng mga nanguhuli na mali yung nangyayari. And maraming incidents no na since prepared yung mga tao, they have the forms with them at takot silang mademanda na yung mga nakakausap, nakakaharap, takot sila mademanda na bakit sila ang madedemanda hindi nila panukala itong mga panggigipit na to. So usually pinalulusot nila. Kaya for the past few months, maraming hindi na-file na case kasi nag-atrasa ng kalaban. Pero recently lang, lumalakas ang loob nga nila kasi nga ang dami mga pronouncement ng pangit sa Malacanang at saka ng IATF ay kaya medyo lumalakas ang loob. Kaya lang, definitely, natatakot din naman sila. Yung mga yun sila yung pangulo nila natatakot din naman kasi if you will notice nga ang dami niya pinopronounce pero in letter hindi niya isasabihin mandatory. Ganon din ang DOH sa action sila mandatory pero in letter hindi nila aaminin na mandatory. So what do? You have to refuse and make them admit it on paper in writing kasi kung oral lang to kwentuhan lang, hindi natin madadala sa court yung evidence na yun. Kaya lagi in writing ang ating refusal. Paglalaban tayo in writing para at least pwede natin dalhin anywhere. And takot sila ma-expose through evidence.
Correct.
So, takot sila.
Correct. So, pati yung sa TODA, pwede niyang i-video. Pag ikaw pinigil ka, bumahi ka.
At saka
i-video mo, tapos kunin mo yung pangalan.
Magpa-print siya ng forms, kunin yung pangalan, tapos kung ayaw tanggapin, iabot niya na lang, i-chan niya na lang, pero videohan niya, ini-check ko na sa'yo, bahala ka na dyan. Pero at least you gave your refusal. So you have evidence already.
Pwede ba siyang arestuhin, Attorney Sagilion? O mas maganda nga arestuhin siya?
Una, kailangan sasampahan muna siya ng kaso bago siya ma-aresto eh. There's no point para arestuhin siya. Remember, even yung 148B na yan, wala naman yung penalty clause. Wala siyang penalty clause, no? Anong gagawin niya sa'yo pag hindi ka nagpaturok? Ay, wala naman eh.
So, hindi siya pwedeng arestuhin, hindi siya pwedeng tikitan. Pag bimahe siya.
Ticket, I think may mga sa mga LGU nag-issue sa ticket, pero yung pwede niyong i-resist yun at pwede niyong questionin yun, no? Yun, pwede i-demanda sila. That will be a ground, but magiging justiciable issue siya, no? Ibig sabihin ng justiciable issue, meron nang pwede pag-usapan sa korte.
Yun.
So kasi kung hindi tayo nagre-resist, wala tayong pag-uusapan sa korte, walang pagdidesisyonan ng judge. So kailangan tayo mag-resist.
Kung estudyante, sige, Mari. Sige, Mari.
Kailangan ng paper trail. Kaya ang inuulit lagi ni attorney is get it in writing. Put it down in writing and get it down in writing. Para may paper trail kayo. Hindi yung sabi ko. Hindi sapat sa korte yung sabi ko. Ito ang alam ko . No, hindi pwede. Kailangan nakasulat siya.
Kaya, attorney, kung halimbawa, estudyante, gustong pumasok sa eskwela, sabihin ng principal, hindi ka pwedeng pumasok sa eskwela. Sige, isulat nyo na hindi ako pwedeng pumasok sa eskwela. Ganon.
Magbaon na sila ng refusal form.
Yes, sige.
Gumagana na yun, no? It's not the first time. Marami na kami na paatras na school. Yung mga sumunod dun sa gumagawa kami na sariling protocol. Yung protocol namin, so refusal letter, marami naman na umatras na school at saka sa employers, no? Umatras sila, tinanggap nila yung refusal letter and they did not enforce yung mga mandatory vaccination nila, no? So even before sa start pa lang, mga June pa lang, ginawa na natin yung refusal letter. Marami na umatras sa school until recently marami pa rin. I think yung isa is in Iloilo, no? Is a language school. Umatras yung school. You just have to assert. Yun yung problem kasi sa atin kung hindi tayo mag-assert. Hindi naman sila mind reader para malaman kung ano yung ayaw natin o gusto natin.
Okay. Check lang natin, Francis, kasi 8:30 na. Doc J. Del Mundo, good evening po.
Good evening.
Hi, Doc. Anong balita sa ating mga bisita?
Darating sila ng 8:30. I don't know if they're here already. Pero
How
nandito
do we find them?
Mr. Christian Dino. Mr. Christian Dino is already here.
All right. Okay.
He's co-host.
Okay.
And another one is Professor Ina and Dr. Frinta.
Nandito na lahat, Ellie?
We have Miss Anna Aldecoa is
Yeah.
Ayun,
and
okay.
then Dr.
Ina,
Frita
so that's
wala
Ina.
pa.
Okay. So
Professor Ina and Mr. Dino
Christian
I think
Dino.
are here already. They will connect us with the corona International
Virus.
Investigative Committee,
Okay.
which is headed by Attorney Rainer Fuelmich.
Rainier Filming.
So
So
we will
do we
give-
wait for the other delegate po, or do we start with
can we start? We can start with them. We can
Okay,
start
sige.
with Professor Ina.
konting background lang po tayo sandali, no? Si Rainier Filmic po is a attorney, a lawyer who has filed cases against Volkswagen and sino yung isang Doc Jade?
Deutsche Bank.
Deutsche
Deutsche
Bank.
Bank.
So, hindi siya, obvious na hindi natatakot sa mga malaking kalaban, ano? At si Attorney Rainier is filing what they're calling the next Nuremberg, no? Nuremberg in reference to the World War II, post-World War II trials of the genocidal Nazis, no? So, sina Attorney Ina ba? Attorney Ina, Attorney Christian, tama po ba?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
okay.
Christian Dino and Attorney Ina, Professor Ina Aldeco
are in touch with Attorney Rainier, and they will be connecting us in the Philippines with that movement. Dahil po ang goal po nila is to halt the pandemic, to halt this yung ginagawang RT-PCR, lahat yung mga bakuna on a global basis, no? So yung let's go ahead and introduce them. Good evening po, Professor Ina and Mr. Christian.
You may unmute po. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hello po.
Yes, I am Anna. You can call me Anna.
Anna. Okay,
And
sige po.
yes, and my husband is about to join me. And
Right.
thank you for this opportunity to be introduced to your group, because we've been looking for this kind of group that are also thinking like we do, because we've been following the investigations being done by the Corona Investigative Committee in Berlin since July 2020, headed by Attorney Rainer Filmich. And so I will introduce to you my husband. His name is Tom Frinta. He's joining me now.
Good evening, sir.
I'm just. I
Yes.
see.
Hello.
So
Welcome
we
to
would
the
like to thank Christian Dino for facilitating this for us. And I have written Attorney Tanya Lat. And
just for
yes.
the
yes,
for the
may
sake
I
of
will ask my
introduction.
husband to talk to you.
well, just as I am just a very normal person. I have studied two different things. I have studied at the University of Vienna natural sciences. I am a physicist and mathematician, and at the same time, I studied music at the Conservatory in Vienna. So I am also a musician, and am together with my wife here to support young talents coming to European colleges. So that is what I want to say about my education. And right now, I don't want to preempt my wife, but we are split in our work. My wife is bearing in on the Filipino community, obviously, and I am very close to the parliamentary opposition leader at Vienna, in Parliament in Vienna. Our parties in the opposition have 30% of the votes of the Austrian votes, and right now I'm working on a paper which should be out on Monday for them. So what I'm really doing is I'm collecting together with Anna data. We are trying to get data from valid sources, mainly from the United States, and then they have to be archived. They're archived in part. They're put in on our own web space so that nobody can censor them. We have a server in Utah, United States, who nobody can touch. And so some of the more sensitive videos I download immediately and upload to our server. So we are trying to maintain a data collection. So that's as much as I want to say.
So and me, I am professionally connected to the College of Music. I'm the chair of the keyboard department. and I'm soprano and pianist. And since the pandemic, scamdemic, we have devoted our free time and sometimes more time than necessary to sharing the right information and the truth to a lot of people. It's very difficult, but we have written to archbishops, bishops, and SM, Robinsons, and recently I called up RFM and San Miguel Corporation, telling them the crimes that they are doing to their employees. So, but we need you to maybe we could link. We want to be with the group and to be members of the group, and maybe we can link our group to the Rainer Filmich, the Corona Investigative Committee. And it's a little bit hard to share everything because most of the investigations are done in German, and which we understand because we speak the language and also Christianino. But there are very important things that are translated into English. So, but this is what we know from Rainer Filmich, that he said what they found out in their investigations, they will easily share to all lawyers or to groups that are working and fighting for humanity. So that's what he said. So that's what we can do as our contribution to link us to Germany.
Just one short, we are many people, so I don't want to waste your time. One important information which I'm offering you, maybe even when you call, give me 3 minutes. It's regarding the contents of the so-called vaccine. I'm able to share with you verbally now, maybe in 3 minutes, the contents, which has been scientifically proven. And if you like, we will share also the original medical statements regarding these contents. They are incredible. They're absolutely incredible. So I just want to inform you. If you want to know more, just let me know.
Just give me 1 second, sir. Dr. Jade, do you already have their contact info? So because we want to.
I don't have the contact info, but we are going to meet according to Juan Elizalde.
After this, right?
Group going to meet with them, and after this huddle,
in a separate Zoom meeting.
In a separate Zoom meeting,
please. We are going to send you a link. We will join you there after we close this huddle. Right?
Yes,
so
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We'd like to get to know you more. But Attorney Tanya, how is your German? Ba?
Hello.
My sister is in Germany. She's married to a German national. She's based in Berlin. Unfortunately, she's vaxxed.
Okay.
No problema. Yeah. So
we will forgive her for that. Okay, so we'll allow. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your husband's name, Professor Anna.
Tom Frinta.
Tom Frinta. So
yes.
Okay. Christian, go ahead.
Yes, 2 questions lang po, no. Kasi maganda po yung sinasabi ni Attorney Aaron Sugilo, no. We have to be proactive with this. Democracy is not a passive gathering. Everyone has the power. I mean, you don't say that your letter is just a letter. You know, it comes from different directions. It will come a long way. Okay. So yung point ko lang po is that I think we have to always remind people where they can get the forms. Na parang so parang just to make, kasi I think na parang to the link to be accessible for people. And the next one is yung to the doctors po, no, I have a question. Is there a form to validate if the vaccine the death of the people are like from the vaccine kung namatay pa talaga sila sa bakunado? Kasi sa Germany po, mayroong abduction na ginagawa. So they get a tissue of the heart if it is a stroke or what. And then, kasi yun nga, sabi ni Atty. Sigilon, this is an evidence-based thing.
Right,
so,
right.
So parang, okay, nag-gets ko po yung una sinabi na proliferation, yung pagdami ng anecdote, yung mga sabi-sabi na nadidinig natin ay isang forma ng ebidensya. So, pero maliban doon sa, yun nga, sa dami ng mga namatay, parang may paraan ba? Kasi I think people would be more than willing Kasi alam nila sila yung nakakaalam na binakuna, wala namang talagang sakit. And then if we can just validate that through scientific, really, I think we will be willing to do that, to be examine your tissues, and then under microscope, nakikita kasi nila and then that will connect to what Sir Tom Printa is saying, that in Germany and Austria, sinusuri nila yung laman ng bakuna. At nakikita nila under microscope, high-tech microscope, na merong impurities doon sa bakuna. At nangyari na sa Japan.
Yes,
One second, Mr. Tom. Firstly, Cristiano, the letters are available on the CDCPh website. All they need to do is go to cdcph.org. And thank you for asking us to remind everyone. cdcph.org, and then go to the Learn tab and click on it and go down to Letters and Legal. Secondly, let's not confuse the issues. Yung binanggit kanina ni Doc Alan about the anecdotes, that's in reference to the application of the protocols, the medical protocols. It was not in terms of a court. No, he was not talking about going to court. That was not in reference to legal. He was just saying about to show doctors that this works. You don't have to wait for randomized controlled trials. That's what he was saying. Since we have a whole slew of anecdotes already, it's more than enough to take you to the point where you will really look at the evidence for ivermectin.
Yes, people actually also do blood tests before and after the vaccination. So they have a clear, parang kahit di man sila mamatay, they note from their blood sample, there's something that happened which is not supposed to happen. And maybe that's also linked to, this is another crucial thing, yung aspiration. There are things that parang, there are doctors, sometimes hindi professional yung naglalagay ng injection, and they don't even aspirate to know kung tumaba ba siya sa vein or not. And the vaccine is not meant to be intravenous.
Actually, point well taken. Point well taken there, Mari, because yesterday, during an interview, Dr. Rafi Castillo made that point of aspiration. You have to aspirate first and then inject. No, he made that point during the Inquirer interview, which really has to be done, and we're not doing it here.
Dr. John Campbell has been talking about it in his YouTube videos for some time now. It's been more than 2 months easily. He's been saying people have not been aspirating. Sir Tom, go ahead, please. You were
one small comment, important comment. We should cease and desist using the word vaccine. It is not a vaccine. And unfortunately, my countrymen in Austria as well as in Germany don't seem to yet understand that fully. It's very hard for them to understand. We are talking about a bioweapon intended to kill. The issue of vaccine comes up in as much as that the artificially spread pseudovirus called COVID-19 needed some defensive mechanisms. And that's what they did. They construed a chemical which they are offering as vaccine. But when you look inside the vaccine, there is only a minor item which is helping to reduce the symptoms of this disease. The majority of items that is in there is is intended to kill. And actually, it's not only that; it is also to form into transhumanism. We have found, when I say we, I mean not I, the scientists have found, and several have large names have confirmed this. 4 different lethal parasites which are induced to form hybrids between different species. I have only half an hour ago seen a human hybrid with a frog, a human hybrid with a tiger, a human hybrid with a reptile. And these scientists are strongly asking people who have received the inoculation, I do not wish to use the word vaccine, they should not they should not generate new children, basically, because these organisms are genetically modulated, modified organisms, and they're not human anymore. I just want to make this very clear. The dangers involved with the inoculations are incredible. And unfortunately, most of the people are only looking at the blood clotting, at the heart diseases. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, Mari. Maybe we should talk to. Yeah, we should talk more later. Doctor
Yes.
and Anna Marie.
Yes. We also wanted to meet personally with Attorney Lat and Mr. Nicanor Perlas.
Yeah, perhaps they can join later.
All
No?
right, so let's just make sure we have each other's contact info. Ellie, are we good for that already? Do we have a way of reaching them? And do we know how to contact one another? Because we might lose them after we come off the, or Doc
I'll
Jade.
ask Doc Jade. Yeah.
Okay.
I have the contact number of Mr. Christian Dino.
Okay, good. And then we have
we will get the contact numbers of Miss.
We can write here on the chat, or is that fine?
Well, so Christian is fine for now. We just want to make sure we don't lose you from one Zoom room.
We won't because we will be keeping in touch. We will find time to keep in touch with you.
So we need to make sure that we give you the next link. Do you already have the next link, Ellie? Because we're changing Zoom room.
Not yet pa. I can make one.
Okay.
I think,
sige, pwede rin.
I think Chair is giving, sige, mi na lang. Yeah, I'll do it na lang.
Si Chair, you were saying that Chair also told me he was going to, he was going to
give us a link, no? Okay.
So let's just make sure before we, because we're going to have to, Francis, we're going to have to cut it early precisely because we'd like to talk to Sir Tom and Ma'am Anna and Christian some more.
Yeah, should there be any questions now from the audience, our good audience right now, who wants to ask our guests from Vienna any questions? Kindly post your questions now while we have them.
You'll have to ask your questions in German.
Mars, weren't we supposed to have Attorney John and Attorney Fidel?
Yes.
Yes.
You.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding.
You're welcome.
Attorney, who go first? Attorney John or Attorney Fidel?
Any, kasi they're both co-host na po kayo. You can unmute. Who would like to go first?
By age ba tayo? Attorney Fidel ba una?
By age, seniority.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Attorney Fidel.
I'm very happy to join this huddle. But it was about August. I was expelled from my chat group, Viber. So I was looking for other groups. So I got into CDC Ph Huddle, and I'm very thankful because it was no use trying to argue with my classmates, no? So I'm also a COVID survivor, thanks to the Landrito Ivermectin. I only took 2 capsules and my symptoms were gone. And I'm a private practitioner, 10 years with the Solicitor General. I'm presently a consultant. I thought I was prepared to write a memo to management because I felt they were going to implement the IATF, but I stood my ground. I did not debate, I didn't argue, and they have not yet issued any memo. So standing your ground helps. And just to add to what Attorney Aaron said, it is important for everyone to really document everything. Verbal objections are not enough. You have to write your objections. Just this morning, I got good news. I had a client who was imprisoned. The authorities were not going to release him. They gave all sorts of reasons, but I know the law. They had to release him. So I wrote an email. It was very strong. The law was very clear. And last night, at 9 p.m., my client was released. But if it was only verbal, I don't know. Maybe my client is still in jail.
Why
So
did they put him in jail, sir? Why did they put him in jail?
it's a long story. He was entrapped by the NBI. Anyway, that's a long story.
Okay.
But it is very important, especially to those in authority, when you cite the law to them and that what they are doing is wrong, they'll be apprehensive. And even if in addition to filing cases with the fiscal, filing a case in the ombudsman is also very effective, because once there's an ombudsman complaint filed, their promotion is sort of suspended. They cannot be promoted. They cannot, all those things, they cannot transfer. So in addition to grave coercion with the prosecutor, we can also file ombudsman cases with government officials who are clearly in the wrong. And we have to encourage all the people outside to especially those who are being harassed. I just 3 days ago, I learned about 2 drivers who were not vaxxed, but they were forced really to get the vaccine because it's required in their job. But they could have stood firm, but then they could not work from home. They had to be present, physically present. So it's really sad. Those things are happening. This morning, I passed by Robinson's, Manila. There was a vaccination program and there were children. Pedia, there was even a section for Pedia, 1 dose, Pedia, 2 doses. So I saw, although there were teenagers and older persons, there were children. I saw a boy about, maybe it's 9 years old. So it's really sad. It's really, very sad. And we have to really push back in our circle of friends. And if you have lawyers, we really need more lawyers right now. We're fighting all over the country. And it's nice to hear good news in Iligan, although it was dismissed, but it had an effect. The mayors, the LGU were pushed back. So sometimes even if your case will not win, the mere fact of filing will make people aware, will strengthen other people. So let's just file and file. Actually, for a long time I've been writing. I even wrote the IBP. I wrote an email. They have not yet responded. I said, fellow lawyers, the Indian IBP filed a case against the WHO chief scientist, an Indian citizen, who was trying to discredit ivermectin. Because of that, a certain state stopped ivermectin usage. So the Indian integrated bar wrote that chief scientist, and right after that, the chief scientist stopped her Twitter posting about ivermectin. So it's really effective. I was hoping the IBP would take us on. Hopefully, we cannot. Maybe local IBP chapters can take us on. But there was a time I thought I was fighting a lonely fight, because I was writing Inquirer in Facebook, all those media outlets. I was writing to them. I was sharing Nick Perla's cease and desist letter. I was writing many letters. But right now, it's very heartening to listen and knowing there are more lawyers coming out, more lawyers helping. Thanks to Attorney Aaron for doing the dirty job of preparing all those template letters. Also for Attorney Tanya Lat for all the work she's doing. But really need more lawyers. And if you have friends, to all of us here listening, joining this Zoom, you know, you have lawyer friends. You have to, even if they're vaxxed, no, many people who are vaxxed know their constitution. The lawyers know their constitution, that forced vaccination is unconstitutional and illegal. Now, looking at the IETF resolution, if you any constitutional law student would know that it can easily be nullified, the IETF, because it's contrary to the law itself, Republic Act 11.525. The real battle is in Congress because there are many bills filed to forcibly vaccinate everyone. There's even a bill proposing imprisonment of 30 days. So that's the next battleground right now. And we really have to, wherever we are, we have to keep in touch with our congressman, watch them, and engage them. But we have to, well, the good thing is that it's an election season. We have until May, so many lawmakers would not be pushing forcible vaccination because of its election season. But after that, what happens? So it's a long fight, but we just have to keep fighting, and that's all. Maybe Attorney John can add. I can answer questions later on, but so far that's all.
Okay.
Attorney John?
Thank you, Panyero. Attorney Fidel. Actually, I saw Attorney Fidel before in the chat, and then I invited him to also join CDC Legal Corner together with our pag-meeting na leader, no, Attorney Lyman, and also the other volunteers.
Thanks, Attorney John, for inviting me.
Just a question, or probably I would like to ask a question to Professor Tanya and my schoolmate, Attorney Aaron. No? I'm also from Arellano. No? Regarding Article 239 of the Revised Penal Code, the usurpation of legislative powers, no? Can we consider this as a legal action, no? With regard to the different executive orders and resolutions being passed by the executive, knowing the three branches of government, so we also have Article 239. Professor Tanya and Attorney Aaron.
Go ahead, Prof.
Sorry, hindi ko court on criminal law eh. I will defer to you.
Ilagay ko sa chat at Professor. Lagay ko sa chat box para man. Actually, this is an old provision, no? Hindi masyado napapansin.
Yeah.
Di rin ako ganun kaano sa kanya, pero I would check twice kung tama yung party na magpa-file. Siyempre, if you're filing for usurpation of powers, sino ba dapat ang complainant dito? I mean, inagawan ba or ano? Pero I'd like to address din pala yung kanina. Sorry, Panyero, kanina yung si Christian, yung may sinasabi siya about yung sa mga namatay sa vaccine and to test it before I answer yours. Karamihan kasi sa namatay, abo na sila ngayon no? Abo na. And since we're talking about legal battles now, dito yata papasok yung class suit. Yung parang ito yung pinaka-perfect na situation para mag-file ng class suit. Yung mga families na mga cremated na.
No?
Kasi you cannot distinguish anymore their interest, no? Kasi for the class suit to prosper, kailangan undeterminable yung interest ng bawat isa eh. So kapag determinable, kaya meron kasing I think 2 weeks ago, no, a labor group sabi nila they'll be filing a class suit. Baka mamaya mag-fail kasi ang nagiging I think ang naging successful na class suit pa lang is yung sa I forgot the name of the case, yung sa environment of on behalf of the children, ano nga to, attorney lahat? Sorry. Ayun, Oposa versus Factora, no? That's the only successful class suit na meron tayo yata so far. So because that, hindi distinguishable ang interest ng bawat bata, no? With comes to environment. Pero with live victims, magkakaiba ng interest eh. I think magiging pagpo-prosper yung class suit sa yun dun nga kasi ni-raise niya yung mga victims na namatay na. Wala na tayo matitrace eh kasi sinunog na nila yung bodies right now. Pero saan natin ba imagine yung damages on liability ng government when it comes to these victims? The government has 1 year to put all vaccinated individuals under observation. Ibig sabihin, whatever happens to them, it has to be investigated. Hindi nila pwedeng i-dismiss without undergoing the scientific process of identifying what is the real cause of the death. But since sinunog na nila, they've already destroyed the evidence. So this one, we will be, I think, for everyone meron kayong kilala na namatayan, they still have to connect with any of us, with CDCPh or with Attorney Tanya sa CCH, or even with this one Dakila, no? Even if they're dead, you have to connect because there is an interest, no? It can be pursued for a class suit eventually. There. So yun. So Panyero, yun doon naman sa usurpation of authority, I think it's okay siya na option. Kaya lang syempre, as much as possible, sino yung, ang magiging question kasi natin is, sino yung proper party in interest to file that case? I'm not sure if we can file the case kasi hindi naman tayo yung nagawa ng authority. Pero ako kasi policy ko, no, sa sarili ko in my practice, subok lang na subok. I mean, there's nothing wrong to try. So I think okay naman yan. If ma-dismiss, let's find another way. Pag nag-succeed, edi mabuti.
And can I just add to that? Actually, it's been updated. So when the penalties were updated in Republic Act 10951, tinaasan na yung fine to 200,000. So it would seem that Congress has actually updated this. Kumbaga, it seemed archaic, but the fact that Congress updated the penalties kind of makes it more relevant. So maybe this is an option we can pursue.
Agree.
Thank you, Panyera, and thank you, Panyera.
Okay. Mari?
Okay, yeah. Si Sir Hans. Go ahead, Sir Hans.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, good evening. I'd like to address our friend from Germany, the couple
Austria.
there.
Austria, actually.
From Austria, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
hi.
Yeah, you see, it's okay that you say Germany. I'm Austrian, but I lived a very long time in Germany. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Hans. So anyway, I was really surprised by what you said about the different DNA types that you were seeing in the vaccines, the types that were there. And we so-called conspiracy theorists, okay, that were being, they have so much money to throw at us, and with their narratives, and they're even mind controlling through Netflix and television programs. And what you said, there was a series that started recently called Sweet Tooth in Netflix, where the children being born had horns. They were parts of different animals in their genes, and then society is made to accept it. These freaks are made to look cute, so that when these things begin to happen, supposedly, because of what they're trying to do, it becomes acceptable to us. The same as the zombie shows that right now and all those things. So even Hollywood is now playing its part. I say this because 2 days ago, one of the top Hollywood awardees was talking to a friend of mine, and then she was talking about a friend who died in the hospital because she had COVID. And then when my friend, I'm not naming names, mentioned that, what are you doing? I said, well, I take Ivermectin and we're okay here. And this woman, who is a very rich person in Hollywood, said, there you go, believing this stuff about the animal medicine. And my friend said, look, before that was animal medicine, 4 billion people have been taking it already. And before, when it was used with people in Africa and in South America, that's where they got the idea that it should work on animals as well. And for your information, this has won a Nobel Prize for medicine. This aspirin and what was the other one who won the one for syphilis?
Penicillin, is it?
Penicillin, yes. So penicillin. I don't think people like you, he told this woman, people like you who are in the entertainment, that's why people don't believe the truth anymore, is because they're caught up in the science, they're caught up in the entertainment and all that. So now they're conditioning our minds to accept this. That's why I was really surprised when our good friend from Austria was saying that he saw this frog, he saw this, what other animals there are, because that's what we're going to see in the future. That's why when he said, don't breed, don't let them copulate or breed or, have children, because that might be something we're going to see down the road. I know it's a long shot, but, anything is possible right now. They just shut down the world for the last 2 years, so anything is possible.
I'm really shocked to be hearing Sir Hans sound like that, because that's what I sound like.
Well, one thing.
Malapit na tayo sa bilibid, Mari. May pagpasok na rin tayo.
One thing for sure is that the conspiracies are slowly coming into fruition, and they are no longer conspiracy theories, but they are just facts now, di ba, Mari? Ganun ang nangyayari.
Okay, linawin lang natin. Attorney Tanya, Attorney Aaron, you should be getting the link, or if you should have it already by now to be joining us with the
after this.
So we'll continue there. Sorry po, we will have to end it here. No, may ano pa tayo, si Attorney Tanya pa will speak, no? Yung iba nating hindi na tackle, we'll tackle it another time, but we'll turn it over to you now, Professor Tanya.
Yes, thank you, Sir Mari. I would just like to assure everyone, okay, so parang I myself am still in shock dun sa sinabi. There's so much more at stake pala with this, with the vaccines.
Yes.
I personally believe, and this is already going into the religious aspect, yung sinasabing about the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
We've been, reading about this for decades, but I think that this is it. This really is it, and particularly mRNA vaccines, So I'm also equally distressed by the thought na magba-vaccinate na ng mga bata. Okay, so we really need to do what we can to stop this. Okay, so perhaps I just like to share, just to reiterate what Attorney Fidel said and what Attorney Aaron said. Now we really need to document this. We need to get this in writing. Okay, we already have the attention of the mainstream media. We already have the attention of the government. Wag natin bitawan to. The momentum is on our side. Okay, and it will continue to build up. Once the cases are filed with the Supreme Court, it will build up. Okay, and also one other piece of good news that I wasn't able to share. We had some brave bar takers write to the Supreme Court.
Wow.
There were just a handful of them, but they already wrote individually to Justice Leonen. Some of them called him out on Twitter.
Very good.
And they submitted a position paper on the same day that the PDI ad came out.
Bravo!
Yes. Bravo! All them Botes 5. And it might have had an effect on Justice Leonen, because the day after, when he addressed the bar takers in the public address, he said that the Supreme Court would do the antigen testing of all examinees without exception. Hindi siya for the account of the unvaccinated lang. All examinees to be shouldered by the Supreme Court.
Wow.
So, was this because of what the bar takers did? We don't know, but it's a positive development, and perhaps they did contribute to that shift. And each one of us can contribute to that shift. So for those of you na nawawalan ng loob, please know that we are a community, and we are not just in the Philippines. It's a global movement which is trying to preserve humanity. Diba? Please stand your ground. Please tell people na anuhin ninyo na you keep your job if you're dead in a year, or you're dead right after the job. And if this is really true, that this is the mark of the beast, it's the return of the Nephilim, diba? It's really humanity. It's really about the survival of humanity. This is what it is. And so, siguro my advice lang is, please, let's continue to work together. CDCPh, CCH, One Dakila, and all these other groups are starting to band together. Okay, let's document our stories. Let's get the news out there. Let's continue to encourage each other, because we are growing. They try to say that we are konti na lang, nag-iisa na lang kayo. But if you are the last person standing in the midst of the zombies, that is a victory in itself.
Yeah.
Diba? And perhaps the challenge now is to unzombify people. Okay? We don't want to give up on the vax, because the vax will become unvaxxed when the boosters get rolled out. Diba? Hopefully, there will be antidotes to the vaccines. I'm talking to people saying that zeolite can flush out the vaccines. Oh no, Sir Tom is shaking his head. Oh no.
Attorney Tanya, we've been watching Dr. Judy Majkowicz, and she knows an antidote to the vaccine. But she is warning everybody to always to get the real one.
may I just say the big problem with antidotes is I know many people who are scientists who are categorically saying no, and there's a reason for that. Maybe there's a way of compromising the parasites. I'm just saying maybe. But the GO, the graphite oxide, is going to stay there. And the graphite oxide is like razors flowing through your bloodstream. And every time you get a new inoculation, you increase the amount of graphene oxide in your blood. This graphene oxide, think of it this way, like the sheets on your roof. They are very, very thin, and they are very large, and they flow with the blood, and they will cut up your tissues. So you will be perpetually bleeding. And the place where these GOs are going to stop is the place where the blood is not having a fast stream. And where is that? In the very fine tissues, in the joints, in the brain, in the heart. And so these areas will die first. This is where you will have coagulation, where you have problems. So I would say if somebody has been inoculated once or twice, one has to be kind to these people. But I would not want to raise any false hopes. This is the problem.
Okay. Francis, may
I'd
tanong.
like to say another thing.
Yes, no.
This is what I heard also from a pastor. He says that this vaccine is not motivated by the good to our health. This is motivated because of control. They want to control us. And to the body of Christ, he says that who are those who will take the vaccine? I mean, take the mark of the beast. They are those who are not resisting the vaccine.
Yes.
Yeah, they are those who are not resisting the vaccine. They can easily be dissuaded to take the mark of the beast. And another thing that he said was that this mark of the beast, just what I said many months ago at the start of the vaccine rollout, I said, this will not stop with 2 doses. This will continue with several boosters because the elite would like to condition the mind of the people that they must take boosters every so often until they get used to it, so that when the mark of the beast is injected, they will not resist. So this is the gist of what the pastor said, and I want to reiterate that this is indeed what may be happening in the future.
Actually, it's happening na po in Austria.
It's happening.
Sinabi na po na may tanning yung may limited po yung fully vaccinated na tawag, no? Yung category na yon. Kapag hindi ka kumuha ng booster dun sa tamang panahon, dadating yung panahon na yung status mo as fully vaccinated will be taken away. Isa ka na dun sa unvaccinated muli. Kaya yun.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Magbigyan lang natin si Ron Melvin Magbalon. Ellie, he would like to make an announcement to his fellow teachers.
Okay.
Mabilis lang please, Ron Melvin.
Mabilis lang po. Ay, hello po. Dinig po ako?
Yes, go ahead please.
Ay, ayun po. So mga to my fellow teachers po, aside po doon po sa mga yung sa laws po na presented po ni na attorney, yun po sa RA 11525. So meron pong issued po ang DepEd na memo, DepEd memo number 28 series of 2021. This could also help po doon sa mga kako-teachers natin as an additional file po for an attachment po with regards po doon po sa ano po, para pong ito po yata ay yung yung pong cooperation po ng DepEd towards vaccination po ng teachers. So naka-iterate po doon na meron po we have the right to choose. At the same time, we are committed to the right of truth, and also yun pong sinasabi po nila na informed consent before the decision making po doon po sa So I will be sending again po yung link noon pong memo po na yun dito po sa group chat.
Galing mismo
sa
kay Secretary Briones yan?
Pirmado po ito.
Alright.
Actually, I have the copy po dito po sa akin. So, pero pwede ko po isend po yung link po nung memo para po as an additional file po.
Sige,
Para po sa
pakipost na lang,
mga
please,
teachers po natin dito.
Alright,
Sige po. Thank you po.
Thank you. Francis, may tanong dito si Eric Villarente. Sabi niya, sino po sa CDCPh, CCH, JD ang tatakbo ngayong eleksyon?
Ay.
Kung magpa-fun run po, lahat tayo tatakbo.
Hindi, tsaka wala pong tatakbo. Lahat kami lalaban.
Sa fun run ka ako, lahat tayo tatakbo. Okay, so ano pa bang meron tayo sa closing slides na tayo, Ellie, please?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Alrighty, just to make sure wala tayong nakalimutan, baka makapagalitan na naman tayo.
Wala na po.
Para naman pinapagalitan tayo, no? Okay.
Yeah, nothing else, Mars.
Nothing else. Isa lang, Mari, no? Yung mga pinag-usapan po ng mga Christian brothers natin dito is about eschatology, di ba? End times, end times teachings na sinasabi ng Biblia. Kung kaya't, yun na po. If you want to know more, ask your favorite pastor or research ka ng konti about eschatology at anong sinabi ni Jesus Christ tungkol sa end times at ang Biblia tungkol sa end times. Ayun.
Alright. Final words, Ellie?
Salamat po sa lahat ng abogado and our doctors also, lahat ng speakers natin. And subaybayan po ulit next week. Mainit for sure ulit ang usapan tungkol sa karapatan natin at sa kalusugan.
Okay. Si Doc Alan ba? Doc Alan, there, you join us sa Zoom, ano? Diretso na tayo at wala na ibang magsasalita, I don't think, ano? Francis?
Wala na yata.
Diretso na tayo.
Oo,
salamat na lang po tayo for those who don't have the link sa mga core group natin sa CDC and CCH and JD, please just message us directly and we'll send you the link. As to our Austrian friends and Christian, you should have the link already by now, no? If not, si Doc Jade will be in touch with you. All right, see you there po in the other room. Kayo pong mga kasama namin will be joining us there. And for those who won't be joining us, we hope to see you next Saturday po. Thank you very much for tuning in to another weekly huddle with the concerned doctors and citizens of the Philippines. Until next time, God bless you po. See you next time.
God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, Mars. Bye, Francis. See you in a bit pala.
See you in a bit.
Okay.
See you there.
Bye.
Is it this
Ano meron?
or there is another room?
Homer, i-message ka namin.
Okay. Nawawala na ako. Okay. Sige. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Recording stopped.